We've been doing a few of these today, and we've already sort of gained altitude, and yeah. So
this is where we pull back on the stick.
Speak for yourself, guy.
Yeah.
Coming to you virtually live from the Beer to Whiskey Studios high atop Barley's Tap Room on Washington Street in glorious downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big John and Five. That's where I get my good buddy here, Big John Richards, to pick a beer from one of Barley's 72 taps or 40 to 50 cans and bottles, and we sniff it, we sip it. We get bits about it. John tells us usually a little bit about the brewery, and sometimes we even delve into the history of brewing. And after that, more than anybody asked for, introduction, John, what'd you pick for us?
I picked one of my all-time favorite beers. This is Weyerbacher Brewing out of Easton, Pennsylvania. It's a beer called Blithering Idiot. It is their barley wine. It's a big old English style barley wine, still very true to the English style side of things, where they've left, like a lot of the American barley wines, are throwing just giant loads of hops into their beer and creating what almost is a double IPA.
Yeah.
But this beer really sends back to what a traditional barley wine is and leaves a lot of that out. So you're just going to be met with the big, funky, fruity notes of fermentation up front, big warming alcohol sensation, smooth, malty, caramelly, toffee stuff on the finish, and then that lingering fruit, which just is so satisfying. And this is 11.1 and impossibly easy to drink. So that makes two 11.1s today.
Yes, we've been doing a few of these today, and we've already sort of gained altitude, and yeah. So
this is where we pull back on the stick.
Speak for yourself, big guy.
Yeah.
This is it's a pretty color.
It's a beautiful beer, that really rich amber, red.
Yep.
And it does everything to tell you what it's going to taste like. And you could do that to some extent with the color of a beer. You know, if it's super just pale straw, you're just not going to get a lot of that malty sweetness out of it. You're dealing with nearly everything fermented out. And then if you get into this color, or anything even kind of copper on this side of it, you've got a lot more of that toffee and caramel sweetness to it. And then you get farther down the line and you're talking about getting into the browns and the porters and the stouts.
Right.
And then once it starts turning black, you're back into roast and bread crust and but the bitterness from those beers comes from the malt itself instead of from the hops. And somewhere in the middle is IPA, which then you're dealing with IBUs versus alcohol, and it's a different sort of a playing field. But for most beer, the color can tell you a lot about the level of sweetness you're going to get. IPA just sort of bisects the rest of beer.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew? But this is I can't wait to get into this. Let's do it. Weyerbacher has been brewing in Easton, Pennsylvania, which is just north of Philadelphia, since 1995. They're still a tiny little family-owned brewery. And gun to my head, this is probably my favorite brewery in the world.
You have said that before, because we have done beers of theirs before.
Yeah.
You've always said that.
Everything they do, I think, is top-notch and just speaks to me. So,
all right.
Here we go.
Text Miss Lily.
This is exciting. That smells like just candied dates and raisins. You get that little bit of Jolly Rancher sort of candy sweet aroma
I
out
get
of
that.
it.
I get the Jolly Rancher thing.
Yeah. I love it so much. There's just enough of that bready backbone to keep it from feeling cloying, but that sweetness stays with you, riding the top of it the whole way down.
Yep.
I mean, it lingers sweet, which it should at 11.1. You want something like this to linger sweet. And I don't even feel the heat of the booze like I remember out of this.
No, there's
Yeah.
absolutely no alcohol burn.
Like I said, it's scary. It's always been scarily easy to drink.
Right.
And oh boy, can this put you to bed in a hurry.
I don't need that, John. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. I don't need something to kind of.
Yeah.
Wow, that is good though.
Yeah, this is just something. And again, this is something you want to take time with. You want to let it warm up because it's going to change drastically.
I think
From
so.
cold temp up to even approaching room temperature. You pass that sweet spot at like 55, which is what we kind of have decided is cellar temperature. And somewhere in that spot, there's that perfect little golden window where it's exactly right. But you're going to sip on this for an hour, and by the time you're done, it's going to be room temperature, and it's still going to be delicious.
It is sweet. On the finish, I've got sweet and I've got bready.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, this is that classic. It just, the flavors aren't aggressive, but they're so good and so rich. It just made me stop mid-sentence, you know? It's just, the experience of it is so good.
I'm speechless.
Right?
I am speechless. It is, you're right. That is, wow. And to think that's what, 11.1?
It's 11.1.
Holy moly.
You could be forgiven for sitting down and just knocking this back if nobody told you.
Yep. Wow.
I mean, it just tastes like a rich. I mean, I could be convinced this was 7. If you told me, I feel the richness of it. I know there's something there, but I could probably be convinced this was a big 7%, like double amber.
Yeah.
Because it's so smooth.
Wow, that is good.
And these guys just managed to kill it with every single one of these big beers.
Yeah.
Went and looked up before we sat down that we did a review of the barrel-aged version of this called Insanity, which we'll have to twin on the website, I guess, and get people to watch both these together, because all they do with this is they take this beer, drop it in some bourbon barrels, and let it age for a while, and then release that. And it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm glad you chose this, because I remember that beer as being just really remarkable, and it would be fun to be able to drink them
Side by side?
side by side.
Well, we might get our chance. I thought that they had quit brewing Insanity altogether. The word on the streets was that Insanity was no more. But I just, in researching and doing my homework before we sat down, went to their website, and they've got Insanity on tap in their tasting room right now. I was like, it'd be a trip to Pennsylvania. in
Yeah,
my future.
if you're heading into the Philadelphia area,
Yeah.
there you go.
Right.
Wow, that's nice. Anything else?
It's a wonderful thing, man. I think probably spoken my piece, and we can let these people
All
go
right.
try and find some.
All right. The good news is we've got a couple of other things to do, and while we do that, this is going to sit and
gonna
get better
overlap.
and better and better.
The good news for you is this is a year-round beer. That's the good news. The other one was the good news for us.
Yes.
Cheers.
So damn lucky. See you next time.